guys, and welcome on back to She's Diabetic. For those of you who are new here, my name is Andrea. I have been a type 1 diabetic for over 18 years, and this is just a channel all about that, my life living with a chronic condition. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much and welcome back. So guys, how are we doing? How are the blood sugars? How's everything going in isolation, if indeed you are in isolation? I know for me personally, days, hours, minutes can be up and down, and like, what's going on, and questioning, then trying to ignore it. Then you wake up in the morning and you're like, is it still happening? Was it a dream? Oh, no, it's not a dream. I just hope we're all doing okay. If you're not, that's okay too. So I've been getting a lot of messages and been seeing a lot on the internet about people talking about, gosh, this isolation is making my blood sugar skyrocket or rise or very difficult to control, all that sort of thing. Totally understandable. So I thought I would come on here and list off 5 things that I'm doing to keep my blood sugar down whilst in isolation. Spoiler alert, none of these things include insulin. Not that I'm saying you don't need insulin. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying these are 5 non-insulin related things that can help with your management of your blood glucose when it is running higher. So here we go. Number 1, and I mean that with a big old 1, highlighted exclamation point, 1, is exercise for me. Exercise is a huge one, and I think a lot of people underestimate the amount that exercise or moving your body has an effect on your blood sugar. For example, a couple things I'm doing. If my blood sugar is running high before a meal, I will pre-bolus and then I will bust out 50 jumping jacks. You might have seen that in my last vlog. I'll list it up here wherever it goes, but that's gonna get my body and the insulin moving in my body more, and then I'm not gonna deal with a post-meal spike. I'm also simply exercising with some sort of YouTube, Instagram Live. There are so many going on. It's really plentiful. I'll list a couple down below, but exercise, key. It's been really helping me. My second one, pretty simple, not easy, but pretty simple. Address your sleeping. When I'm not sleeping, when I'm adhering to very odd hours, not adhering to any sort of schedule whatsoever, my sleep goes haywire, and I've been guilty of it during this quarantine time. Just because I'm saying I'm trying to do this doesn't mean I'm succeeding at it. So I totally feel you if this is a frustration for you guys. But for me, the more I prioritize those 8 hours, 7, 8, 9 hours, the more I prioritize that, make sure I'm getting it, and make sure I'm getting it sort of in the same time bracket at night, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, roughly, that makes a massive impact on my blood sugars, and my insulin sensitivity is far higher as a result of getting a better sleep. So though I know it's an annoying one and it feels a little bit out of our control, things like going to bed at the same time every night, maybe turning off your phone, reading something rather than looking at a screen, maybe a little lavender on the old temples. I don't know. Whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel lovely and cozy and safe to fall asleep, go for that. Not only is it good for your body, you're going to see a benefit in your blood sugars. At least that's been my personal experience. Another thing that I'm doing that I mentioned in my COVID-19 video, which I will list up yonder if you haven't seen it. When I eat plant-based and lower fat, I find that my insulin sensitivity is maximized as much as possible for what I know my body can achieve, and therefore it just makes everything a lot easier to control. Now for you, that might be low carb, that might be paleo, whatever. I'm not here to tout what is best for you to eat, what is best for you diet-wise. I think that is such a specific and personal topic for diabetics, and I would never dream of telling somebody what to eat, how to eat. That is your prerogative, 1,000,000%. But for me, I know, okay, how am I going to be most insulin sensitive and most able to keep my blood sugars in range? It's when I'm eating low-fat plant-based. So right now, that's what I'm prioritizing, and it's just making my life, again, that little bit easier. And easier? I'll take all day long. So the other thing that I'm trying to do, and it isn't revolutionary in the slightest, is just to drink more water. Now for me, this is important for two reasons. Firstly, dehydration can actually cause or aggravate high blood sugar because the sugar concentration in your body becomes higher the less hydration that you have on board. So think about it in this way. If you were to put a pan of water on the stove and put tablespoons of sugar into it and then boiled it down, you would have a syrup. The same is roughly applicable to the human body. And then it can become even more intense because when our blood sugars are higher, we may be urinating more to flush that sugar out of the body. That's the body's reaction. And then you become even more dehydrated. So if you're already running high blood sugars, you really want to focus on that hydration piece. My second reason is that sometimes you can mistake dehydration or thirst for hunger. So this can encourage the old snack bug to come out and about. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm hungry, but actually if you were to drink a glass of water, that sensation would no longer be there because it was actually thirst you were feeling and not hunger. So obviously if you're snacking all the time, you're going to see rises in blood sugar. It's going to be harder to control. So anything that can kind of mitigate that snack bug that I know we're all dealing with at the moment, and it's totally understandable, but anything that can mitigate and minimize that snack bug is for me. The fifth and final thing for me has to do with stress and managing that. When I am stressed, my blood sugar skyrockets, or at the very least becomes very stubborn and difficult to pull down into range. So managing that piece is the hardest for me, but also equally almost the most important. Something that I like to do when I'm stressed is write out physically, pen and paper, and write out why I'm stressed and what I can do to alleviate that stress, or an action step that I can take to mitigate that stress. So, for example, having the news on at the moment 24/7 is very intriguing to me because I want to know what's going on and I want to be really educated as to what's going on, but at the same time it's really eroding away at my sense of security and provoking an anxiety response from me. So what I decided a couple days into isolation was that I am going to actively limit the amount of time that I am watching and engaging with the news. For me, that is mostly just watching the 5 o'clock government briefing that happens here in the UK every day. I figure, okay, if I am watching that and engaging with that, I'm going to be relatively up to date with the most succinct, least sensationalized version of what is going on. For me right now, to look after myself, if watching the news is stressing me out, the action step that I can take is to minimize the amount I'm watching the news and to make sure when I am watching the news, it is the most succinct and factual version of what is going on directly from the horse's mouth of the government here in the UK. So that's just an example. But let's take another example. Okay, I'm stressed because I can't get to the gym and move my body and I feel meh. The action step there could be, let's find an online workout that I can do that isn't going to be the same as going to the gym, but it is going to allow me to move my body and feel better as a result of releasing those endorphins. I think a lot of times the things that stress us out and provoke those responses from us are things that are seemingly out of our control. And of course, this is out of our control from a very personal perspective. There's nothing I can do in this moment to stop what is going on in this world. But what I can do is stay inside, stay home, save lives, protect our NHS here in the UK. I can do that, and therefore that is an empowering piece that I can hold on to and focus in on, rather than, oh my gosh, when is this going to end? I can't do anything about it. I'm scared. I'm anxious. So there we have it. I hope this was interesting to you guys. I hope it was a bit of an interesting take on ways to keep blood sugars down when they're running higher that has nothing to do with insulin. Obviously, I could sit here and say, take more insulin, be better at carb counting, whatever. I could say those things, but they're meaningless. I don't know your body, nor am I a doctor, but what I have found is that some certain behavioral changes have helped me to keep my blood sugar down or more in range when it's wanting to climb, and I thought I would share those with you guys. What are some other things you guys do to keep your blood sugars down in this crazy time? What are you finding that's working? Please share down below. I would love to know. I hope you guys are doing okay in and amongst all of this, and if you're not, that's okay. This is a crazy time. We're all going through it together, so I hope there is some sort of strength and safety in that camaraderie. And if you are feeling alone, just remember we are all in this together. We are going to get through this together. We will be stronger on the other side, and life will eventually get back to normal. And oh my goodness, won't we be so grateful when it does? And won't that be so sweet and wonderful? And that will happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day wherever you are in this world. I wish you great blood sugars, straight CGM lines, all of that wonderful, wonderful stuff. But most of all, and most importantly, I wish you a happy, healthy mind with it all. Stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you next time.